Hey everyone, welcome to Hope for Survival YouTube. Thanks for tuning in. I hope you're having a great week and you're getting a lot accomplished and your days are full of blessings and you're making every hour count for you. Hey, I wanted to stop by and record this video in between rain showers. And sorry I look like a rag bag here, but I've been outside working before the rain hit, and unfortunately today is weed eating. So after about 3 hours of weed eating and cleaning up some pears that the wasp have taken over, and dealing some with that, and anyway, I wanted to come and talk to you about something that's on my mind. We need to have a serious conversation here, and most folks don't want to hear it because it's not sexy or exciting, but I'm just going to lay it out to the best that I see it, and based on past experiences around the world, sharing with you lessons from then to what I'm seeing now. So, over the journey of Hope for Survival, early on and throughout, I recommended that you read a book by Sun Tzu, The Art of War. And one thing you'll learn in there is that those who control the resources wins the war. It's about resources, which is about logistics. Okay? And you just have to look around of everything that's going on in the world and our country right now, and the resources are drying up. Wheat's down, corn's down. We have the lowest inventory of beef available since 1950, and our water systems are under attack in 7 states. A medical system in Anderson, South Carolina was hacked and taken over. Last I heard, they were in about day 5, and they still had not regained control of their medical network at this hospital system. And I have someone who's dear to me who has some medical issues and needs access to his medical records like yesterday, and he can't get access to them to go elsewhere to try to get some answers to some potential high risk medical diagnosis that just happened a couple days before the system was hacked. And it goes on and on and on, and I've shared with you over at points here and there, and I think in my first book I may have talked about it some, but I've been out there around the world, and I've witnessed what happens to nations and communities when some form of a disaster occurs and the food inventory dries up and the people turn on each other, friends on friends and family on family, strangers breaking in and robbing homes, chasing people out of their homes. And I know many people think, well, that's over there, it's not here. All right, well, have you looked around lately to how things are going within our nation? And it's a time that people really seriously need to come together to support one another in all aspects. And that's why we teach the 5-mile radius building communities as a class, have since 2020. And, years ago I was in Eastern Europe a lot. I was in about all the Eastern European countries and story after story of things that I witnessed of the people struggling there day to day to survive, and people standing in food lines blocks at a time every day to maybe get a loaf of bread. There was minimal food available to them, and if they didn't get it that day, they would be back the next day to stand in line again. And one trip I was in traveling throughout Romania, and I was in a particular village, and they had had a severe drought, so their crops weren't growing, and everything was dust. And this particular village, they had one mode of transportation. It was a single buckboard pulled by a mule that looked like it hadn't eaten in months. So when the risk hits of no available resources, food in this case, to consume, things become dire and drastic. People have to go on a search to try to find just a day's worth of food. There is no hunting, and in most cases there is no fishing for most of these people. And we teach food, water, shelter, security, and then communications, medicinal, and so forth as your resources. And when you think about the water systems being attacked in 7 states, I believe it is, in the Midwest, Midwest towards the border, it's kind of an eye-opener, because I know folks who are in preparedness and prepping. I know folks who just simply overlook water. They go and buy a Berkey or another filtration system. They leave it in the box. They never get it out. They don't know how to put it together. They don't know how it works. It's like a lot of other resources. They'll deal with it when the time comes, and then it's probably too late. Or they have a pond or a stream or something close by, and they'll go get water there. Well, you may go get water there, but you have to get that water from where it's at back to your home. And you don't know if there may be a threat to you while you're crossing from point A to point B. You haven't tested the water, and it goes on and on and on. How are you going to haul the water at 8 pounds a gallon? If you got a home with 3 or 4 or 5 people, and you're multiplying 8 pounds a gallon, and you need FEMA recommends 1 gallon a day per person. That's way under what you're going to need. So you figure 25 pounds per person. You're talking about possibly having to transport 100 pounds of water a day. You may be trying to pull it in a wagon across a rough field. You may have physical limitations, But the point is, water is extremely overlooked. And I would be willing to bet out of every 20 preppers, maybe a half to one person has actually taken steps to solidify securing water availability, to have the system to clean the water and so forth. You may live in an area where your water source dries up at certain times of the year, and you have no water stockpiled. So a lot of people need to get off their duff and get with it. Food, the second highest need after water. A lot of people take for granted that they live in America, and people have gotten soft. They don't know what it's like to be hungry. They don't know what it's like to have to go find some form of food. It might be wild in the forest, and they have a book. but they've never gone out there to find and find these wild foods. And you're going to be competing with other people, and you're going to be competing with wildlife. You know, that's their turf. So, you know, I think one of the biggest mistakes that people make is that they have the mindset of what they've read in post-apoc books. And it's great information. It gives you great information as far as heads up to resources, things of that nature that you may or may not need that will help you out. And that's all great. But those are fiction stories. Okay? In a complete day, probably 90% of each day, every day, is going to be taking care of your water and food, and knowing how to grow it, how to preserve it, how to can it, dehydrate it, freeze dry it, smoke it. And I know some folks who are doing this because it's their way of life every day. But there's a lot of folks who started prepping and they know of these things and they're not doing them. All right. And kind of like in the books, most stories end well and the good guy wins, and they live to see another day. But in reality, it's not easy. You know, I know good people who have not even tested their soil, and they have this mental state that when the time comes, they'll till and they'll grow food. Well, you know, one of the biggest obstacles after soil and weather is wildlife. And how are you going to protect everything you're growing from wildlife and straggling people who are starving? How are you going to go about these things? Okay. And yeah, we live in the greatest nation on earth, and I've been to a lot of nations around the world that are not America. You know, from Eastern Europe, Africa, in the Asian region, Korea, Philippines, Mexico, and beyond, Haiti, and I've witnessed how people live. And I'm telling you right now, most Americans are going to have a hard time and struggle if the time comes and things continue on the course that they're moving on now, in psychologically transitioning from current day to the new world posture. All right, from being in a country where you go to the bathroom, they have a board plank where you squat down and there's a hole in the board, and you go to the bathroom through the hole, and then you look 50 to 100 yards downstream, and there's people in the water who are doing their laundry and taking baths. Okay, because that's where the water's at. And I can remember one time in Dakar, Senegal, and I was doing a risk assessment there for something, and I remember going into a roundabout, and there was a water fountain with water in it, and on one side there was someone standing urinating in the water, and on the other side of the fountain there was a mom and her kids in the water cooling off. And then about a block to 2 blocks away was the community hospital, and there were people lined up probably 100 to 200 yards single file outside the hospital trying to get in. People laying on the ground with green stuff coming out of their nose and out of their eyes. Sick people, right? And when the system starts breaking down and your immune system starts breaking down, you're very susceptible. And if you don't have a means to eat healthy to the best that you can and have clean water, and then know how to treat when your body starts breaking down, medicinal plants, medicinal tinctures, things like that, you're really going to be up the creek. Okay? Now, part of building your community in your 5 mile radius is bringing all these things into it. Every one person does not know all these skills, and that's why you need to find people who know, who are willing to learn best they can as fast as they can. Start learning these skills, because when AI and the Internet of Things and the data centers and all this is fully deployed and everything's digitalized, you may have to make a choice that you don't want to be part of that system, and you're going to have to have skills and people around you in your community that you trust, that you spent time with, you've learned. You may not like their politics, you may not like the person, but they are part of your community, and you're gonna need to learn to work together. It may be tending to animals, tending to a community garden. Okay, there's people around me who they're not overly keen on shooting wildlife for food. Well, as long as you can buy food at the store, that's one thing. But having game and freezing it or smoking it or dehydrating it, that kind of puts them over the edge. But you got to know these things, right? It's I've said it numerous times. It is a mindset, and until you adapt that mindset of these are things you got to do to build your self-insurance policy, self-reliability, you're basically wasting your time. Okay, and we always talk about the most important steps are knowing yourself, your mental, physical, and psychological well-being, getting out of debt, and securing resources. Okay. And there are too many people out there who have a mindset that it's all about guns and knives. All right. And when the time comes that they're needed, that's fantastic. But 90% of the time, maybe even higher, you're going to be having to know how and growing food, and where you're going to get water sources, and getting water that you trust, or having to clean it. Okay? Think of all the people that live in these 7 states right now that cannot turn on the tap to get water that someone else is cleaning for them. See, everything is in America is mentally about someone else. Someone else keeps the water clean. Someone else keeps the electricity on. Someone else drives the truck that brings food that someone else grew some other place. You don't know them from Adam. Okay? All you know is that statistically you buy food from a grocery store that's unhealthy as can be, and you go and buy it and bring it home, and that's what you eat every day. But when this all stops, and when the war continues in Iran, and it's going to continue, okay, there, as it is now, there is no winning solution for the United States. All right, should have declared victory back in March, cut and left, but that choice wasn't made. And now we are there for the long haul. And the longer this goes on, the more it's going to impact the United States. It's going to impact the economy. It's going to impact oil getting to us, which is going to impact availability of diesel fuel, which impacts the trucks. And you're going to have fewer resources being trucked to locations. And while all this is going on, your corner market is probably going to have less and less and less resources on the shelves. So you have an opportunity here. Okay, you're hearing all this information and have been hearing it for ever how long you've been listening, and it's on you. All right, it's up to you to have a backup plan. When we started stockpiling resources years back, canning and growing and so on. When the big C hit in March of 2020, because of my job that I had before I retired, I was already our office in emergency management was already monitoring what was going on across the pond in Asia in the big C red country, and that was 6-8 months before it hit the United States. And as we journeyed through it over the last 6 years and the increase in food and everything, we've been fortunate that we have not endured these increased prices because we've been living off of things that we put back over that time. And then when we find good prices and sales on things, we will buy them now and backstock things that we've taken out of our inventory. And it has saved us a tremendous amount of money. Not to mention the meat that we canned was straight from farm. We know where it came from, and it was healthy. And the other items that we canned, we grew. So no chemicals, straight out of our ground. And it's work, folks. It is work. It's not easy, but I would encourage you to start doing things now to toughen yourself up to get ready for hard times that are likely ahead. And again, I'm not trying to be a doomer here or scare anyone. I'm simply, again, sounding the alarm again that the tides are high and the ocean is rough, and there's no improvements from month to month. It's actually it's getting worse. So you got to decide, okay? And the most important thing here is, number one, is you have the right mindset, but more importantly is that you have your life right for the journey ahead. If you're people of faith, you really got to be on that faith walk and establish that personal relationship with the Lord and lean on Him. Okay? And for anyone who is not preparing because they know that the Lord will provide to them, well, I'm not doubting that, but I know a lot of situations through history where individuals were waiting and waiting. All right. So challenge yourself the next time you take off down the road. Drive your gas tank till the light comes on, and see what happens. Okay. That's all I'll say on that. So anyway, I got to cut. Get back to it. I just wanted to pass that information on to you, and mostly because it concerns me. The things that I read and the things that I see, and people who are trying to offer you this information, very few people, honestly, want to take time to listen to it. They want to hear the clickbait stuff. They want to know what's going on here, what's going on there. You'll see 500,000 clicks on a podcast that is basically recycling news. All right. Very, 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 very few people truthfully know what is going on at the top. All right. The big thing that caught my attention is when I noticed that things were happening in our country to people that I witnessed happening in my former life to people in other countries. All right. The persuasion through information and power. And it's happening right here in our country. So keep your head in the game. If it's not in it, get your head in the game, or simply don't. But I pray for you, and hope when the time comes that you realize that you really needed to take steps, hopefully you can. So don't sit back and think that it's fair that because you didn't prepare that your family or neighbor needs to now take care of you because they plan to take care of their families. All right. But if you have a community in the 5 mile radius plan, you have a much, much better chance. Okay. Hang around people who are encouraging to you. Surround yourself with people who are like-minded, people who are uplifting. They're not Debbie Downers, and you will find that your days are much more fruitful, and you will sleep better at night, knowing that you have people in your life that are calling you out, people who are watching your back the same as you do for them. Okay, so many blessings to you. Take care. Throw down the ding dongs and the Twinkies and go grab a shovel. All right, it's actually good for you. All right. All right. If you like this video, please hit like and share amongst those who you want to hear this information. Subscribe if you have not. By the time this video posts, I will probably be on a quick road trip over to West Virginia and Virginia to spend a couple days with family for a birthday. But I'm still in the game no matter where I'm at. So keep on keeping on and keep preparing. It's in your best interest. So be blessed, and remember, count your blessings. Bravo Echo out. Thank you for checking out the Hope for Survival YouTube channel. If you are new to Hope for Survival, you can check out our books at our webpage. Book 1, which is Hope for Survival, Getting You Prepared for Disasters, and Book 2, Hope for Survival, The Mindset, are both available for order on the website. We also offer the Hope for Survival football stick, which is a memory stick set up as a digital filing cabinet with files already loaded on there for you to digitally copy items such as deeds, auto transcript for ownership, wills, living wills, loans, banking information, items that if your home burned down or you had some form of a disaster, you could have all your important papers already digitally filed on this stick. All you do is simply drag the digital file into the appropriate preset folder so that you'll have it in the event of a disaster. You have to flee your home in a hurry, or also if you're away from home and you need critical information that's personal. If you have your memory stick with you, you can put it in your computer and pull that information up wherever you may be. Again, you can find these items to order at our website, https www.hopeforsurvival.com, or you can email me at preparedness101@protonmail.com, and I will try to help you out. Again, thanks for checking out the Hope for Survival YouTube channel. Hope to see you again.